Hi guys, we're on page 228, understudy. So Daisy passed away, and Augie was really sad, and his mom and his sisters, and he asked about heaven, if Daisy went to heaven like Gran. And Augie got into a fight with his sister and his mom, and he said that they were lying, and they were both liars. And he said, "Stop treating me like a baby. I'm not retarded. I know what's going on." He thinks Vaya's ashamed of him, sorry. Okay, so it says understudy, page 228. Vaya brought home 3 tickets to her school play a few days after Daisy died. We never mentioned the fight we had over dinner again. On the night of the play, right before she and Justin were leaving to get to their school early, she gave me a big hug. She told me she loved me and she was proud to be my sister. This was my first time in Vaya's new school. It was much bigger than her old school and 1,000 times bigger than my school. More hallways, more room for people. The only really bad thing about my bionic Lobot hearing aids was the fact that I couldn't wear a baseball cap anymore. In situations like these, baseball caps come in really handy. Sometimes I wish I could still get away with wearing that old astronaut helmet I used to wear when I was a kid. When I was little, believe it or not, people would think seeing a kid in an astronaut helmet was a lot less weird than seeing my face. Anyway, I kept my head down and I walked right behind Mom, though, through the long, bright hallways. We followed the crowd to the auditorium where students handed out programs in the front entrance. We found seats in the 5th row, close to the middle. As soon as we sat down, Mom started looking inside her pocketbook. It's like a purse. "I can't believe I forgot my glasses," she said. Dad shook his head. Mom was always forgetting her glasses, or her keys, or something or other. She is flaky that way. "You want to move closer," said Dad. Mom squinted at the stage. "No, I can see okay." "Speak now or forever hold your peace," says Dad. "I'm fine," answered Mom. "Look, there's Justin," I said to Dad, pointing out Justin's picture in the program. "That's a nice picture of him," he answered, nodding. "How come there's no picture of Vaya?" I said. "She's an understudy," said Mom. "But look, here's her name." "Why do they call her an understudy?" I asked. "Wow, look at the Miranda's picture," said Mom to Dad. "I don't think I would have recognized her." "Why do they call it an understudy?" I repeated. "It's what they call someone who replaces an actor if he can't perform for some reason," answered Mom. "Did you hear Martin's getting remarried?" Dad said to Mom. "Are you kidding me?" Mom answered, like she was surprised. "Who's Martin?" I asked. "Miranda's father," Mom answered, and then to Dad, "Who told you?" "I ran into Miranda's mother in the subway. She's not happy about it. He has a new baby on the way and everything." "Wow," said Mom, shaking her head. "What are you guys talking about?" I said. "Nothing," answered Dad. "But why do they call it an understudy?" "I don't know, Augie Doggy," Dad answered. "Maybe because the actors of the study under the main actors or something. I don't really know." I was going to say something else, but then the lights went down. The audience got very quiet quickly. "Daddy, can you please not call me Augie Doggy anymore?" I whispered in Dad's ear. Dad smiled and nodded and gave me the thumbs up. The play started. The curtain opened. The stage was completely empty except for Justin, who was sitting on an old rickety chair tuning his fiddle. He was wearing an old-fashioned type of suit and a straw hat. "This play is called Our Town," he said to the audience. "It was written by Thornton Wilder, produced and directed by Philip Davenport. The name of the town is Grover's Corner, New Hampshire, just across the Massachusetts line. Latitude 42 degrees, 40 minutes. Longitude 70 degrees, 37 minutes. The first act shows a day in our town. The day is May 7th, 1901. The time is just before dawn." I knew right then and there I was going to like the play. It wasn't like other school plays I've been to, The Wizard of Oz or Cotty with a Chance of Meatballs. No, this was a grown-up seeming. And I felt smart sitting there watching it. A little later in the play, a character named Mrs. Webb called out for her daughter, Emily. I knew from the program that this was the part Miranda was playing, so I leaned forward to get a better look at her. "That's Miranda," Mom whispered to me, squinting at the stage when Emily walked out. "She looks so different." "It's not Miranda," I whispered. "It's Vaya." "Oh my God," said Mom, lurching forward in her seat. "Shh," said Dad. "It's Vaya," Mom whispered to him. "I know," whispered Dad, smiling. "Shh." The ending. The play was so amazing. I don't want to give away the ending, but it's kind of the ending that makes people in the audience teary. Mom totally lost it when Vaya, as Emily said, "Goodbye, goodbye world, goodbye Grover's Corner, Mama and Papa, goodbye to clocks ticking and Mama's sunflowers, and food and coffee and new iron dresses and hot baths, and sleeping and waking up. Oh, Earth, you're too wonderful for anyone to realize you." Vi was actually crying while she was saying this, like real tears. I could see them rolling down her cheeks. It was totally awesome. After the curtains closed, everyone in the audience started clapping. Then the actors came out one by one. Vaya and Justin were the last ones out, and when they appeared, the whole audience rose to their feet. "Bravo!" I heard Dad yelling through his hands. "Why is everyone getting up?" I said. "It's a standing ovation," said Mom, getting up. So I got up and clapped and clapped. I clapped until my hands hurt. For a second, I imagined how cool it would be to be Vaya and Justin right then, having all those people standing up and cheering for them. I think there should be a rule that everyone in the world should get a standing ovation at least once in their lives. Finally, after I don't know how many minutes, the line of actors on stage stepped back and the curtains closed in front of them. The clapping stopped and the lights went up and the audience started getting up to leave. Me and Mom and Dad made our way to the backstage. Crowds of people were congratulating the performance, surrounding them, patting them on the back. We saw Vaya and Justin at the center of the crowd, smiling at everyone, laughing and talking. "Vaya," shouted Dad, waving as he made his way through the crowd. When he got close enough, he hugged her and lifted her off the floor a little. "You were amazing, sweetheart." "Oh my God, Vaya," Mom was screaming with excitement. "Oh my God, oh my God." She was hugging Vaya so hard she thought Vaya would suffocate, but Vaya was laughing. "You were brilliant," said Dad. "Brilliant," Mom said, kind of nodding and shaking her head at the same time. "And you, Justin," said Dad, shaking Justin's hand and giving him a hug at the same time. "You were fantastic." "Fantastic," Mom repeated. She was, honestly, so emotional she could barely talk. "What a shock to see you up there, Vaya," said Dad. "Mom didn't even recognize you at first," I said. "I didn't recognize you," said Mom, her hand over her mouth. "Miranda got sick right before the show started," I said, Vaya all out of breath. "There wasn't even time to make an announcement. I have to say she looked kind of strange because she was wearing all this makeup. I'd never seen her like this before." "And you just stepped in there right at the last minute," said Dad. "Wow, she was amazing, wasn't she?" said Justin, his arms around Vaya. "There wasn't a dry eye in the house." "Is Miranda okay?" I said, but no one heard me. At that moment, a man who I think was our teacher came over to Justin and Vaya, clapping his hands. "Bravo, bravo, Olivia and Justin." He kissed Vaya on both cheeks. "I flubbed a couple lines," said Vaya, shaking her head. "But you got through it," said the man, smiling ear to ear. "Mr. Davenport, these are my parents," said Vaya. "You must be so proud of your girl," he said, shaking their hands with both hands. "We are. And this is my little brother, August," said Vaya. He looked like he was about to say something, but suddenly froze when he looked at me. "Mr. D," said Justin, pulling him by the arm, "come meet my mom." Vaya was about to say something to me, but then someone else came over and started talking to her, and before I knew it, I was kind of alone in the crowd. I mean, I knew where Mom and Dad were, but there were so many people all around us, and people kept bumping into me, spinning me around a bit, giving me that 1-2 look, which made me feel kind of bad. I don't know if it was because I was feeling hot or something, but kind of started getting dizzy. People's faces were blurring in my head, and their voices were so loud it was almost hurting my ears. I tried to turn the volume down on my Lobit ears, but I got confused and turned them louder at first, which kind of shocked me, and then I looked up and I didn't see Mom or Dad or Vaya anywhere. "Vaya," I yelled out. I started pushing through the crowd to find Mom. "Mommy!" I really couldn't see anything but people's stomachs and ties all around me. "Mommy!" Suddenly, someone picked me up from behind. "Look who's here," said a familiar voice, hugging me tight. I thought it was Vaya at first, but when I turned around, it was complete surprise. "Hey, Major Tom," she said. "Miranda," I answered and gave her the tightest hug I could give. Okay, that's the end of Augie's chapter. This says Part 7, Miranda. It says, "I forgot that I might see so many beautiful things. I forgot that I might need to find out what life could bring. Andean, beautiful things." Part 7, Miranda. So this is Miranda's story. Camp Lies, page 236, Camp Lies. My parents got divorced the summer before 9th grade. My father was with someone else right away. In fact, though my mom never did say so, I think this was the reason they got divorced. After the divorce, I hardly ever saw my father, and my mother acted stranger than ever. It's not that she was unstable or anything, just distant, remote. My mother is the kind of person who has a happy face for the rest of the world, but not a lot left over for me. She's never talked to me much, not about her feelings, her life. I don't know much about what she was like when she was my age. Don't know much about the things she liked or didn't like. The few times she mentioned her own parents, who I've never met, it was mostly about how she wanted to get as far away from them as she could when she's grown up. She never told me why. I asked a few times, but she would pretend she hadn't heard me. I didn't want to go to camp that summer. I had wanted to stay with her to help her through the divorce, but she insisted I go away. I figured she wanted the alone time, so I gave it to her. Camp was awful. I hated it. I thought it would be better just being a junior counselor, but it wasn't. No one I knew from the previous year had come back, so I didn't know anyone. Not a single person. I'm not even sure why, but I started playing this little make-believe game with the girls in the camp. They'd ask me stuff about myself, and I'd make up things. My parents are in Europe, I told them. I live in a huge townhouse on the nicest street in North River Heights. I have a dog named Daisy. Then one day I blurted out that I had a little brother who was deformed. I have absolutely no idea why I said this. It just seemed like an interesting thing to say. And, of course, the reaction I got from the little girls in the bungalow was dramatic. Really? So sorry. That must be tough, etc., etc. I regretted saying this the moment it escaped from my lips, of course. I felt like such a fake. If Via ever found out, I thought, she'd think I was such a weirdo. And I felt like a weirdo, but I have to admit it, there are parts of me that felt a little entitled to this lie. I've known Augie since I was 6 years old. I've watched him grow up. I've played with him. I've watched all 6 episodes of Star Wars for his sake, so I could talk to him about the aliens and bounty hunters and all that. I'm the one that gave him the astronaut helmet he wouldn't take off for 2 years. I mean, I've kind of earned the right to think of him as my brother. And the strangest thing is that these lies I told, these fictions, did wonders for my popularity. The other junior counselors heard it from the campers, and they were all over it. Never in my life have I ever been considered one of the popular girls in anything. But that summer in camp, for whatever reason, I was the girl everybody wanted to hang out with. Even the girls in Bungalow 32 were totally into me. These were the girls at the top of the food chain. They said they liked my hair, though they changed it. They said they liked the way I did my makeup, though they changed that too. They showed me how to turn my t-shirt into halter tops. We smoked. We snuck out late at night. We took the path through the woods to the boys' camp. We hung out with boys. When I got home from camp, I called Ella right away to make plans with her. I don't know why I didn't call Via. I guess I just didn't feel like talking to her about stuff with her. She would have asked me about my parents, about camp. Ella never really asked me about things. She was easier friend to have in that way. She wasn't serious like Via. She was fun. She thought it was cool when I dyed my hair pink. She wanted to hear all about the trips through the woods late at night. Let's read one more. School. I hardly saw Via at school this year, and when I did, it was awkward. I felt like she was judging me. I knew she didn't like my new looks. I knew she didn't like my group of friends. I didn't much like hers. We never actually argued. We just drifted away. Elena and I bad-mouthed her to each other. She's such a prude. She thinks she's so this and she's so that. We knew when we were being mean. It was easier to ice her out if we pretended she had done something to us. The truth is, she hadn't changed at all. We had. We'd become these other people, and she was still the person she'd always been. That annoyed me so much, and I didn't know why. Once in a while, I'd look to see where she was sitting in the lunchroom, or check the elective list to see what she'd signed up for. But except for a few nods in the hallway and the occasional hello, we never really spoke to each other. I noticed Justin about halfway through the school year. I hadn't noticed him at all before then, other than that he was a skinny, cutish dude with thick glasses and longish hair who carried a violin everywhere. Then one day I saw him in front of the school with his arms around Via. So Via has a boyfriend? I said to Ella, kind of mocking. I don't know why it surprised me that she had a boyfriend. Out of the three of us, she was totally the prettiest, blue eyes and long wavy dark hair. But she just never acted like she was at all interested in boys. She acted like she was too smart for that kind of stuff. I had a boyfriend too, a guy named Zach. When I told him I was choosing the theater elective, he shook his head and said, "Careful you don't turn into a drama geek." Not the most sympathetic dude in the world, but very cute, very high on the totem pole, a varsity jock. I wasn't planning on taking theater at first. Then I saw Via's name on the sign-up sheet and just wrote my name down on the list. I don't even know why. We managed to avoid each other throughout most of the semester, like we didn't even know each other. Then one day I got to the theater class a little early, and Davenport asked me to run off additional copies of the play he was planning on having us do for the spring production, The Elephant Man. I'd heard about it, but I didn't really know what it was about, so I started skimming through the pages while I was waiting for the Xerox machine. It was about a man who lived more than 100 years ago, named John Merrick, who was totally deformed. "We can't do this play, Mr. D," I told him when I got back to class, and I told him why. "My little brother has a birth defect and has a deformed face, and this play would hit too close to home." He seemed annoyed and a little unsympathetic, but I kind of said that my parents would have a real issue with the school doing this play. So anyways, he ended up switching to our town. I think I went for the role of Emily Gibbs because I knew Via was going to go for it too. It never occurred to me that I beat her for the role. Okay, we're going to stop there. All right, we're going to go back. Question 1. It says, number 1. What's understudy? Number 2. Via ended up being what in the play? Number 3. Number 3, who hugged Augie at the play at the end of the chapter? Number 4, now we're talking about Miranda's part. So what happened to Miranda's parents in the summer before 9th grade? And number 5, Miranda went to, where did she go and told a lot of lies about herself over the summer? Okay, see you guys tomorrow.